Hello, hello. We are live once again. It is Wednesday, 14th of January, and we've had a day of it. We really have. The microphone is also all over here, so maybe you didn't hear that first part. Or it might even be plugged in. What a good start. It is plugged in. That's good. How are we all? Has the red day flustered you at all? I took a few profits yesterday. Going into the close, I thought a bit of rebalancing needed to be done. I think in the portfolio, bit of Rocket Lab, bit of Zeta, or Zeta, you would call it. Yeah. So today we're going to get into the power hour breakout report. It'll be pretty tricky because the price action is a little bit all over the place. But yeah, we can see we're pushing up now a little bit, going to the close. So what we're going to do is, what we normally do is we have a little scan first. So we'll pop up the old initial bands breakout. Actually, let's not do that. Let's do power hour breakout to do our scans. Let me do some housekeeping. Very interested to know what you're trading at the moment, if anything. Some people just maybe sitting on their hands with this price action at the moment. Completely normal. Completely normal. Right, let's get that on there. Boost. Awesome. Right, that is that done. Oh, I did a YouTube thing. You can just watch the chart for now. I'll do my thing. I'll do my thing and you do your thing. As I say, it's going to be tricky tonight because obviously price action is in between, as you can see on the screen there, kind of in between the red line and the green line. Green line being high of the day, which was set in the first 20 minutes or so. Not even that, actually. No, straight away. It was set straight away, the high of day, and we're kind of pushing up towards that. Towards that now. Yeah, interesting to see that price action. Right, we'll get there eventually. Really pushing up into the close. Look at that. For a candle. I mean, the other night, on the Friday night, I actually left saying this looks really bullish setup. And what did it do since then? I mean, this is yesterday, it's the day before. It's just gone down ever since. So yeah. I mean, I never say listen to me, of course, but it just goes to show that sometimes whatever you think in the market, it does the complete opposite. That is how it goes sometimes. Okay, that's that sorted. Let's jump through a few assets, shall we? We've got here. No, wrong one. Amazon. A lot of these stocks are going to be near the lows, of course, 'cause it's been a red day. Although it was quickly recovering. It was down almost 1.10%. Okay, so we've got Barber. Hasn't really moved all day. Up again. Obviously we did this on Monday. That's obviously old news. We get rid of that. Nvidia. Yeah, that punched down. You can see that. You see the lows of the day were set, and then on the turn of the hour, it punched down and actually took that out straight away. So the data for that would not be legit. Look at Apple. Ooh. Google crossing through. Apple is still in the middle. Meta near the lows. Could argue that it might be trying to catch up here. Tesla down here. So you could, yeah, as I say, you could probably take this and have the stop loss down below the most recent low. But we are coming up to the moving average cloud, but we do have the volume profile on the right, so there's a little bit of support there going into the last 20 minutes or so. I thought I'd see a bit of a buy here. Keep things interesting on the stream. I haven't bought anything for a while, but I do like the recovery with this candle here. So we've got our stop loss down just below the lows. Now, of course, as the trade matures, if you have your own kind of risk management, you can always bring this up to just below these lows here. And if we are going to break, the highs shown on the screen here, these 2 points I'm waving my cursor at, if we're going to break those highs, then you could actually bring your stop loss up to kind of break even-ish going forward. But yeah, for now, we're going to respect the data. Which I should have told you this before, but yeah, the data is here. 20%, well, 18% chance a new low of day is made on any significant day. And if you choose a sub report to a weekday, then it's 23% chance. It's a little bit higher. I always say anything below 25, 23, that kind of area. That's where I go. Interesting to see where Apple goes this year. Let's have a look at the daily while we're here. We do have a lot of support at this level. In fact, I didn't realize it come down this much. Let's collapse that. What's this one? RSI. Well, I've got two RSIs on here. Yeah, if we come down quite a lot, the RSI is quite low. Not low, but it is quite low. I'm finding a bit of support here, but this could just be a bear flag, so to speak, which is this. And then typically price action moves down even further. I've got this line drawn here for some reason. I think that might be some previous technical analysis. Move that up to 245 for a nice round number. This might have been done on a Sunday live stream at some point. Have a look at the weekly chart. What is going on there? Get rid of that. Yeah, even a weekly chart down to the moving average and previous high. I don't mind this actually, just for a bit of support for a longer term position. Have a little nibble. Have a little nibble, shall we? Oop. Come on, you can do it. Okay. Set my stop loss. must always have a stop loss to 53.50. See how the other stocks are looking on the weekly charts. Meta. I've never really got into Meta. Not sure why. Oh, take that down, shall we? Microsoft even worse. Ooh. We have earnings just around the corner though, so it could all change for these companies. This one has a previous trend line here, of which of course it did break out of nicely. Very dramatically, we could come back down to these lows potentially. Get rid of that. These are all weekly charts as well, by the way. So Tesla, I do think will have a good year, if I'm honest. What happened last year in the end? Last year opened the closed the 15% up last year. So that's it's rookie numbers for Tesla, isn't it? I mean, if they can hold this, area, so you've got volume profile here on the right. We've got the cloud obviously coming in there nicely, kind of within this wedge. If we can hold this area nicely, especially at this low, let's tap this in. We can hold this low. It looks like it's trying to do now. Maybe tomorrow's price action might give it another little punch out potentially. Yeah. I mean, we've got earnings 28th of January, which is just 2 weeks today. That'll be very interesting indeed. Amazon dropping down, but also to nice levels, So they've had a really good move up last couple of weeks or so. Got some previous resistance here on the right, left, sorry. Like that. So we've got 1, 2, and then 3 points here. So you can see a little bit of support here potentially for Amazon. Barber flying. Look at that. It's got a bit of a gap down below, but you can't really tell the gaps on Barber because it trades on the other stock market overnight. Okay, let's have a look back into 5-minute chart, see if anything's going on. Bit of a drop down. Maybe a touch of euphoria coming in here. Would be nice to see a bit of a bounce at this level. I won't be trading it though. Initial balance breakout report is typically done in the first hour, or is done in the first hour, but the actual lines that Edgefield produces, so obviously you go to indicators, go to invite only once you've signed up for it, and then you'll have initial balance breakout report, which is here. Initial balance, I've already got it on the chart obviously, and then it will publish the first hour's worth of price action. and then basically create its own lines for the rest of the day. And it's different, it's unique for every day. You can see yesterday's lines are much bigger. Well, not too much bigger, but a bit bigger than today's. And then the day before, similar sort of size, and then on Friday it was pretty big. So yeah, you've basically got different lines, different spacings for every day. Yeah, we've got a bit of a dump coming in now for the last 15 minutes. There's a trend line here, relatively, looking like it's going to try and break that. We do have the moving averages coming in below as well. So the support is here. There's definitely people interested in this level, for sure. Where to go to, though, is an interesting one, because this one, obviously this retracement line was rejected off earlier, and we didn't quite make it just now. So there's a little bit of weakness. Sellers are coming in early. So you're just not quite sure if it can get back up to these levels and hold it and maintain and push up to daily highs, all within 15 minutes. But I'm here for it. I'm here with the popcorn. Without popcorn. If this trend line does break to the downside, though, it could get very ugly very quickly. What else is going on? They've changed the headful platform, by the way. It's more clean, more modern, in my opinion. You've still got an explanation video, so every single report that you tap on, this is the power hour breakout report. You go to the gap fill report, for example, scroll down, and you've got explanation video, and also a recommended video that kind of goes alongside it as well. And you've obviously got different diagrams of how each kind of way you can trade a gap up. A gap up is a very extreme example because there's different ways you can use it. But if you go back to the power hour, for example, scroll down, and of course you've just got the description of what's going on, and then same but with the other way around. New low of day. So yeah, good to have. And then what I do is basically go to power breakout report. As you can see, a sub report, scroll down to a weekday. I keep the 6 months just because it's kind of the standard thing to do, and it's good enough data. I mean, you can see how many days how many Wednesday we're on. Oh, I forgot what day it was then. How many Wednesdays there's been in the last 6 months? It'd be half a year. So there's enough data there for sure, and you can just basically scroll through. You can't see because my head is in the way, but I move over like this. You can just tap through all of these nice and easily, really quickly. So if you want to go to Google, bring up Google straight away, I have the data for that straight away. And it's really easy for me to, when I do my trading sessions in the evenings. I did say the other day that I was going to come on a bit earlier and do my prep for a power hour, and I did forget about that, I must admit. But hey, can't remember everything. Maybe next week. Palantir. Just like that, straight up. Nvidia. Just like that, straight up. SPY. Just like that. Speaking of Nvidia, where's the chart? So I want to go to the daily chart for Nvidia. I still think this is a bull flag, and we hit the bottom of it today. Near enough, not quite, but we're in that area. It's just, I think it might just be a matter of time before this just goes boom, you know, pings up. Target wise, obviously we're looking at the kind of bigger term time frame here, trend line. So we've got, that won't be that much. So if say we break here, for example, that's there, it's 2%, it's not much. Then we want to go to this high, 5%, and then we want to close this gap up here, sure, 11%. So that's not too bad. Do I have gaps on here? I do. Why is that not brought up, that gap? Very odd. I will draw it myself. There you go. That's the gap that I've seen. I'm curious to see if anyone's actually buying Nvidia at the moment. Are you buying Nvidia? I bought some for a long time on Monday. I mentioned that on the stream. But even, so you've got the volume profiles we mentioned. But even just this whole area of price action, you can kind of see it's a rough area, nothing perfect. But all of this area here, which used to be resistance quite a few times, turned into a bit of support. And then same again here, kind of resistance, almost a little bit of support there as well. So there's definitely interest in this area, for sure. I think we are getting a bit of a drop into the close. We've pushed down, almost broke the trend line, kind of pushing back up. We've got 2.5 minutes left of this candle. Yeah, it's a funny one. But there's just a lot of support here. But likewise, if we do break that support, then things could get pretty ugly. Let's draw a trend line for that. Again, this is rough. A bigger term trend line, you're looking at something like this. Maybe I could color that differently. So a kind of bigger wedge. It's interesting. Something to note down for sure. How to trade it is kind of up to you and your risk levels. I don't mind getting in here. A lot of people would prefer to wait for the break to the wedge, and that's what I would probably normally do, and I probably would do with a swing trade. But there's just a lot of support in this area, so there's no reason why you can't just start accumulating, so to speak. If that makes sense. And then you talk about stop losses, you're probably looking obviously below the wedge, somewhere down here. But that's quite a big stop loss. Although, is it not that bad, is it? Hypothetically, you get in there. 4%, yeah, that's not bad. When we go 5%, but in this case, we'll do 73.50 ish. And there you go. You've got the 2-to-1 ratio. Squinting with my glasses on is never a good idea, is it? Okay, so there's an idea. Going on with the market then. Oh, look at that. So we are getting a bit of a bounce off this level, as we mentioned. Like I said before, though, it'd be tricky to get through this point. this sort of area here. If we do, then we could be off to the races for tomorrow. In a conservative, but I'm not saying it moon 2%. If it does, then fantastic. But yeah. So we didn't get any power out breakout opportunities today, but did have one. I think it was in Tesla. Kind of drew it out a bit, didn't I? Yeah, so that would have been really nice. Where's the power out breakout? Yeah, so you had the lows of the day here. Let's get rid of the other lines as well. You had the lows of the day here on the screen, set a couple of hours into the market. Obviously, power hour starts here at 8 o'clock here in the UK, 3 o'clock for you in the US Eastern time. Came down near enough to there. Getting into there and knowing to get into there would be very tricky, though. I would say there's nothing that I can see. Because even with this, you had a trend line here going into the last hour, and that would have broken. That would have triggered potentially downside thoughts. But it quickly came back up, and that's a break as well, which is really strange. That's come straight back up. Standard with Tesla, it's all over the place. Does what it wants. Really does what it wants. Very tricky to trade Tesla, but you know the thesis is there. Perhaps you could say if we had a look at the initial balance breakout here, perhaps you could see there's still no support. What about previous day's range? No. Fair value gap? No. So there would have been no justification for getting it in at this point, apart from maybe, you know, there's some support here. But that's, if you're entering a trade based on that, then you are a magician, if anything. But either way, look at this price action going into the close. Where you kind of enter is probably quite clearly on the break of this little trend line here. Close above the line there, could enter there potentially with the stop loss down below here. I feel like I'm just waffling, telling you loads of different ways to get into trades, but not actually getting into any trades. It's where we are. Hey, it's where we are. Interesting to see how everyone does this year, though, with AI taking off. Or has it just started? Have a little final cycle through. Microsoft getting a bit of a bid. This one would have been nice as well, although it did already break. Meta, whoa, Meta struggling. Google never stops, does it? This is the hourly chart, plotting up nicely. Higher highs, higher lows is what we want to see. Apple recovering nicely. Nvidia, Barber, and lastly Amazon. Yeah, so it's been an interesting day, that's for sure. Bit of a U-shaped recovery, I believe. Let's go back into the 5 and go into the SPY. Yeah, so starts off the day up here, as you can see, and we're just kind of really U-shaped. Not going to quite get there because we've got 20 seconds left of the market open, so we're not going to get there now. But maybe an overnight trading, we push up to this sort of level. I'm going to mark that. So something for me to look at overnight. It's been fun. Obviously, we didn't take any trades around with Edgeful, but we did have a look around the platform, and they've changed it. It looks really nice now. No, I didn't before, but it looks cleaner, a bit more modern. I'm looking forward to kind of having a look around actually, because I didn't realise this happened until logging on just before the stream. So, and I'm going to have a little bit of a look around tonight, and yeah, hopefully next week we can dive into it a bit more. But thanks for everyone for watching, and I'll see you in the next stream, probably next week sometime. Take care, everyone.